We got Xwings, we got Ice Spiders, Season 2, Episode 2. Let's get into it.
What's up, everybody? My name is Chris. This is Jeff. Welcome to Chreff.
In today's video, we're going to be reviewing the second episode of the second season. And look, if you haven't watched our review of the first episode, you can find that in the description box down below. Just like that episode, this one is going to contain full spoilers for the second episode, as well as the previous episode and the previous season. So make sure you watch those and then come right back.
So coming off of episode 1, right? I was expecting a lot from episode 2. Right. Episode 1 is sort of my appetizer, right? Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of good action scenes. They showed some pod racer engines. Baby Yoda, obviously, but Baby Yoda is always cute. But episode 2 for me was, okay, we got that stuff out of the way. We're back. Right. So I want to see more now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me, the first episode was, like you said, an appetizer, right? It definitely whet my appetite for everything that the new season was going to bring. And so I definitely wanted to see more depth, like I mentioned before. In the first episode, I wanted to see just a lot more meat to things. And now that we got seeing Baby Yoda again out of the way, now we got Mando doing this, all the action stuff out of the way. Now, to me, it's time for the good stuff. And we have to see if this second episode brought the good stuff. All right, Chris, so what did you think about how the episode started?
So I see him on the speeder bike, right? And you can see the Boba Fett helmet hanging off to the side. I'm like, okay, Disney's teasing me with that helmet, so I better see Boba Fett in this episode. So I get excited, right? Yeah. And obviously, he stops. He gets to that fight. I'm okay, this is a cool fight, but again, we've seen the action stuff before. Sure. I want a little bit more, right, from it. So, again, kind of a decent start to the episode. Pretty standard stuff. But again, that Boba Fett helmet really started teasing me. How about you? What'd you think?
Yeah, I mean, it started off a lot like the first episode, and this was really worrying. I got this sort of simmering sense of dread because I see him get jumped by these people and they want the child, and I'm just like, oh no, here we go again. They literally started this episode the same way they started the first episode. I'm like, come on, we need something more original here. But again, I was like, look, we just saw Boba Fett in the first episode. Maybe he'll come back around in this next one. So expectations and hopes were still a little bit high at this point. So from there, the Mando and the child go to Mos Eisley, and they go into the Cantina. What did you think when you saw that? Wasn't that amazing?
Yeah, and it was cool because I kind of like the music. I was like, okay, I always like it whenever they have a Cantina scene. They change up the music. I think in Force Awakens, I didn't like it as much. I thought it was kind of weird, but this music I liked. So at this point, right, it's clear that we're not going to get Boba Fett, right? And instead, what we get is a frog lady. Right? What do you think when you saw that?
Okay, so there's this point where the lady's like, okay, there's this person who wants passage to this planet and yada, yada, yada. And there was this moment of anticipation, like, oh, maybe it's somebody we'll recognize. Maybe it's somebody that's really cool. And then out walks this frog lady. I was just like, really? Frog lady? I mean, you have such a diverse creature count in Star Wars, and the best they could come up with is this frog lady. Look, nothing against frogs. I love frogs. I think they're amazing. But it just wasn't very original. I was just like, okay, here we go, more side quest stuff. But ultimately, I was genuinely curious to see where it would go. Again, still skeptical, but curious to see where it would go. So Mando and the frog lady are now traveling together. Her condition was that he couldn't use his hyperdrive because that would potentially endanger these eggs of hers. And so, of course, gotta have a little mechanic like that to make things more complicated. So as he's flying, all of a sudden, what do you see? You see some X-Wings. Yes. Now, for me personally, this was a super exciting moment. Chris, I'm sure you agree. Yes. I mean, tell me, what was going through your head?
Listen, whenever you got X-Wings and anything, like at that point, I almost forgot about Boba Fett. I was like, oh, you know what? X-Wings, fine. They can do whatever they want. They can basically take another 4 episodes. I don't see anything as long as they put X-Wings in this episode. So I was cool with that. So before we get into the encounter between the Razor's Crest and the X-Wings, right, there's just one thing I want to mention, guys, right? One thing I noticed, as cute as Baby Yoda is, right, that thing is low-key eating babies, right? Like every once in a while, you just see him sneaking some of the fish eggs, and I'm just like, okay, that's a little weird. Yeah. And you kind of see this happen again across the episode. I'm like, I don't know, that just kind of threw me off a little. I wasn't sure how I felt about that because it's this cute little baby, but he's eating other babies. I don't know. I just want to mention that.
There was definitely something a little sinister about that. I mean, again, it goes to show that Baby Yoda is just a baby, or the child is just a baby.
Yeah.
But it was a little disturbing. It was a little. I couldn't just turn that part off. I was like, okay, that's a little weird, a little disconcerting. So here's where the main part of the episode really gets going. So you have the Razor Crest and you have the two X-Wings kind of sitting side by side. And there's this moment of tension where they're kind of interrogating him, just being like, hey, we need to check your IDs, we need to check your frequencies, all these different things. And
it was kind of like when Han Solo is in the Death Star and he's like, hey, how are you?
We're fine. We're all fine here now. Thank you. How are you?
Yeah.
You know, I felt that same kind of vibe.
For sure. There was a little bit of humor in there, but then, just when you think things are going to go okay, you slowly start to see the X-Wings kind of raise their wings and get into that X formation, and it was just like, something's about to happen.
Going down.
And then, of course, what happens? A chase begins, right?
Yep.
And, of course, Mando takes off, the X-Wings flying behind him, and then they go into the atmosphere of this new ice planet. And what was really exciting to see, which I don't know if you noticed this, is that at one point Mando dips into this canyon.
Of course, the canyon. There's always got to be a canyon.
And it's very reminiscent of Episode 4 when Luke goes into the Death Star Canyon. And it was just amazing to see. Though, that was a really short-lived scene in this episode. It wasn't last that long. And I was hoping there'd be some, blaster fire or whatever. But yeah, it just kind of fizzled out pretty quickly.
So after the fight between the X-Wings and the Razor's Crest crashes, and obviously they're in a pretty dire position because now they're in this ice planet, the engines and stuff were destroyed, and so basically they're sitting ducks, right? And to me, there wasn't a whole lot going on in this part of the episode except for Richard Ayoade's voice, right? Like, I was like, oh, that's cool. That's a cool little nod there, because I think we saw him in an earlier episode in Season 1. So that was cool. But other than that, again, this is kind of where, once the episode slowed down, I just kind of got back to that realization, like, nothing is really going to happen in this episode. This is not moving the plot any more forward than it was in the first episode. We're not seeing any Mandalorians. We're not seeing anything like that. We're not seeing the Force powers. So I was just like, okay, let's just see what else comes along.
Right. Yeah, I mean, again, they're stranded. This frog lady who can't really speak to Mando and vice versa. And so, yeah, it is a dire situation. But like you said, there was that moment where I was like, yep. Nothing's going to happen. And look, when they first crashed into this ice cave thing, I thought, okay, here, maybe this is an opportunity for something amazing to happen. Maybe they stumbled into some sort of old Jedi cave or some sort of old, outpost or something, and they're going to encounter something there. That would have been exciting. But do you know what we got instead? Do you know what we got instead? We got ice spiders. Yay! Ice spiders. How amazing. What a revelation. I mean, I was genuinely hoping for something unique. But yet again, here is Mando fighting against another big creature. Wonderful. This is exactly what we got in the first episode. Literally no change. I mean, come on.
Also, guys, I can handle snakes. I can handle other stuff, but why do they have to be ice spiders?
Why spiders? Why couldn't it be follow the butterflies?
Why spiders? They crawl over everything, and they kind of remind me of the Flood from Halo, just kind of crawling over everything and just getting all the little crevices. And every time you use the flamethrower, I was just like, yeah, kill the spiders. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents there.
No, that's okay.
So in any case, I did like this part of the episode because there was a lot of tension, right? Like, maybe just my thing with spiders, but I just felt like, there was a real kind of threat, and I wasn't really sure how they were going to get out of it. Again, not too much to move the whole entirety of the plot forward, but it was exciting. It was tense. There was a lot of moments where, again, I was very nail-biting moments. What did you think about it?
Yeah, I mean, again, spiders are always a little bit creepy. So, and they were clearly outnumbered. So, we didn't really quite know how it was going to turn out. But yeah, it did bring a lot of good tension. At that point, I was just kind of resigned to the fact that, yep, it's just going to be one of these episodes, kind of a filler, just to kind of keep people on the hook, but nothing too deep or anything. But
hey, listen. How did they get saved? How did it all end up resolving itself? X-Wings, of course. Because again, listen, you can do whatever you want in the episode, but as long as you bring some X-Wings in there, I forgive you.
So these X-Wing pilots come in at the last second and they blast away the rest of the spiders. And yeah, it was great to see them kind of come in and cooperate with Mando, and they sort of let him know that he's off the hook and then take off. And look, what's clear to me now is that they're really weighing heavily on the nostalgia. And look, I love it. I love the X-Wings. I love the pod racer engine. I love all these little nods to Star Wars. Again, as a huge Star Wars fan, it's always amazing to see these things. But what's concerning is that they are leaning too heavily on these things. That they're just using these as an excuse to not create storylines with enough depth. To me, I'm just worried that they're thinking, okay, if we just shove enough of these little references here and there to the books and to the old movies, that the fan base won't notice that, yeah, these episodes are actually pretty shallow.
Yep. So guys, to sum up the episode, basically there's a little montage of the Mando kind of fixing up the ship, and they get back out into space. And at some point, I thought right around that time they were going to get to the planet and something was going to be resolved, but they just kind of just cut it off right there, and I'm like, that's it? What? You're just going to leave it right there? So, again, I just felt that a little bit unsatisfied with the entire episode. Overall, you know, I mean, again, there was some good moments here and there. Again, the nostalgia, like Jeff talked about. You know, again, the spider scene was great, a lot of tension in that scene, but ultimately, it was just pretty mediocre to me.
So what score are we giving this? Really thinking about it and thinking about how it was kind of a letdown for me, and to be honest, the fact that Baby Yoda is starting to get a little bit annoying to me now. I mean, look, he's kind of a waste of space, to be honest. I know that's controversial. Is he an adorable waste of space? Yes, but he's still a bit of a waste of space. It just seems like he's an excuse to you just kind of shove him in the front of every scene, and that's supposed to make everything okay, which I firmly disagree with. So if I really had to think about it, my score for this episode, just considering everything that we talked about, would be a 2.5 out of 5.
All right, guys, so my score. See, I tend to agree a little bit with Jeff. You know, so, I mean, let's break it down, right? We have X-Wings, good. Spiders, creepy but interesting. We have Frog Lady, kind of a weird way to go with it. You know, Baby Yoda, same old, same old. Mando, same old, same old. Yeah. So adding all those factors together, I would say I'd probably give it a 2, actually. 2 out of 5.
Lower than me.
Yes, I did.
2 out of 5.
Yep.
So guys, that's our review. Let us know in the comments below whether you agree with us or disagree with us. I mean, do you guys think that they're laying on the nostalgia a little bit too much and that Baby Yoda is starting to get a little bit irksome? Or do you think that we are just way off base? Either scenario, we want to know what you think, so let us know.
As always, guys, if you like hanging out with us today, please consider leaving us a like and subscribing to the channel. Also, consider following us on Instagram and Twitter. And until the next time, see you later.
See you on the next one.